Good evening and welcome to the 381st meeting of the City of Laurel Board of Appeals, meeting in regular session on Thursday, June 27th, 2024 at 6 o'clock p.m. To sign up to speak for this meeting on any of the agenda items, there's a sign-up sheet just to the right of us. Each speaker has 3 minutes, 2 minutes to make their presentation. We'll start now with the first agenda item. Roll call, Ms. Quillen, please call the roll.
Ms. Keating? Here. Mr. Johnston?
Here.
Ms. Clifford? Mr. Wallace?
Here.
Ms. Nunn? Here. Chairman Smalls?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll now move to agenda item 2, the approval of the minutes for our January 25th, 2024 meeting. If there are no corrections or modifications to those minutes, I will accept the motion.
I motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second the motion for the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. All in favor?
Aye. Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Johnston?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Ms. Nunn? Yes. Were you present for that meeting? You were. So you're going to abstain from that. And Chairman Smalls?
That's right.
I was present for that meeting.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 3 is special exception application number 957, resolution number 24-02, Board of Appeals for 120 2nd Street, number 1, filed by Jamil Hishmeh, I hope I'm saying that correctly, seeking approval to add 2 dwelling units to the existing 3 dwelling units and one office unit in a commercial building. We'll open the public hearing at 6:09, and we'll have the staff presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and fellow commissioners. This is Acting Director Monte Burrow. Special exception application number 957 was filed on February 16, 2024 by Jamil Hishmeh, seeking approval to add 2 dwelling units to the existing 3 units and one office unit in a commercial building located at 120 2nd Street, Laurel, Maryland, 20707. Under date of February 26, 2024, a justification statement, a cover letter asking for comments was sent to state and local agencies. Comments from these agencies can be found in the staff report. Under date of May 17, 2024, a letter explaining the nature of the application and advising of a scheduled hearing before the City of Laurel Planning Commission and Boards of Appeal was sent by certified mail to all contingency property owners. A memorandum from the Planning Commission to the Boards of Appeals dated June 12, 2024 reads as follows. At the regular meeting of the City of Laurel Planning Commission held on June 11, 2024, the following action was taken on the subject zoning application. The Commission, on the motion of Mr. Wilson, second by Mr. Wilford, and carried on a roll call vote, all men present voted to recommend approval of special exception for 120 2nd Street, Laurel, Maryland, 20707. As stated in the technical staff report to the Board of Appeal with the following conditions. The applicant shall obtain all applicable City of Laurel permits. The applicant shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations. The file contains a certificate of publication verifying that this application and public hearing was advertised in the June 20, 2024 issue of the Prince George's Post. The file contains an affidavit signed by the applicant attesting that a zoning sign has been placed on the subject property, has remained and shall remain until the decision is reached by the City of Laurel Board of Appeal. That concludes the reading of the file. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Is the applicant or anyone representing the applicant here? sir, if you want to come forward and state your name and address for the record. If there are any additional comments you'd like to make, and we'll open things up also for any questions coming from the board.
Sure.
Hello, I'm Jamil Hishmeh.
Anything
And,
you want to say, sir?
well, yeah,
The floor is yours.
Yeah, like the gentleman here was saying, we are applying for the special exception. Excuse me, I'm a little bit
I understand.
under the weather.
Mhm.
We feel like it's justified because there is already 3 dwelling units there. And the 2 units that we're applying for were already set up as apartments when we purchased the building. So we feel like it's a good idea to make those 2 dwelling units as well. We are pretty good landlords in the area. We own a couple buildings. We're very attentive to our tenants, and we also feel like there's a need for affordable housing in the area. And we are pretty fair when it comes to rent in terms of our dwelling units that we own. So we think it's a good justification to have those 2 dwelling units approved.
Great.
And if you have any questions for us, I'll be glad
Yeah,
to.
and I didn't give the board an opportunity if there were questions from the staff, also staff report, to ask any questions there as well. So I'll open it up to both the applicant and to the staff if you have any questions, comments.
What's the total square footage of
Um,
spaces upstairs with 450?
yeah, so the other 2 dwelling units are about the same as the existing dwelling units there. I would say total approximately, the whole property, the whole building is probably about, let's say close to 3,500 square feet. Give or take, I'll say
No, I was just focusing on the, oh, my mic's on. No, I was just focusing on the paragraph talking about, there's 17 parking spaces,
yeah.
and the commercial space needs 200 square, 1 parking space per 200 square feet. And it sounds like you'll make all of those numbers.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, in terms of the whole lot,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not sure the total square feet of the whole lot, but it's a pretty big lot as you
Right.
stated with the 17 parking spots. But in terms of the square footage of the building itself,
Mhm.
I think it's roughly about 3,500.
Right, and it says 7
of that.
spaces reserved for business, the other 10 for residential.
Yeah.
And that should be enough.
Yeah, which comes up to 2 for each dwelling unit.
Okay, that was my question.
Sure.
The only question I had.
So you mentioned when you purchased the building, the first floor was already had dwelling units in there?
So they weren't like listed as dwelling units, of course, but they were set up as dwelling units. So like had a kitchen, had a bedroom, so they were already structured as dwelling units.
Were they vacant? Were they vacant?
They
when you
were
pur-
vacant, yeah.
Okay. How long have you owned the building?
Since 2018.
So you have the apartments upstairs,
Right.
and then you just want to add the
2.
apartment.
Yep. And of the 3 apartments that are existing, dwelling units that are existing, we got those licensed and everything. We of course didn't have a problem with those. So.
And then you have the office space.
Yeah,
Right.
the one office space that is there is currently being occupied.
Out of curiosity, what are you charging for rent?
And the office space or the dwelling units?
The dwelling unit.
So the current ones are 1,100, 1,200, and the current the 3rd dwelling unit, the person just left, but they were paying 1,100 as well. So they're pretty fair rent prices and comparable to what the area is offering.
Just have a couple of questions. I noticed from the photos that were included of the units, there's only one photo of the kitchen. Is there a kitchen in each unit? or is there just one kitchen?
Yeah, there's a kitchen in each unit.
In each unit?
Yeah.
Okay, because in fact, the report stated one bedroom, one bathroom,
Right.
and didn't mention the kitchen, so I was curious
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
No, definitely there's kitchens in each.
One of the things I'll say to this, this project is that it does help to add additional housing stock to the city. My hope was that it would be a bit more reasonably priced for those folks who are still, below a certain income level. $1,100, $1,200 is still a little high for some folks, particularly. I mean, the units from the photos looks pretty nice and pretty well maintained at this point. So, welcome you.
Thank you.
Depending on how the vote goes. But adding to the housing stock in
Yeah.
the city for affordable, reasonably affordable units is
And,
an effort the city's been making.
and that's fair. So what we're going by is comparable to the, comparison to what other apartments or what other landlords are offering. And we feel like we're below than what a lot of the average apartment units are in the area, like on Main Street and in the surrounding areas. So that's what we were going off
I
of in
understand.
terms of
Yeah.
the affordability of the rent.
Now, I'll shift the question to our staff. Is there a requirement for the rental housing inspection program with units like these? Mm-hmm. No, I don't mean prices, but just in terms of rental licensing inspections that the city does? Okay. Yeah. Understood. Okay, all right. Thank you. Anything else?
I've got one more question. Oh, Chairman Smalls, when you scroll down, you can see the second kitchen.
I thought I scrolled through
No.
everything.
Not that it really matters, but what's the nature of the business that's there?
The nature it's a car rental and car tag agency,
Okay.
and they've been there. They were there before we purchased the building, so they're existing.
Hopefully they're a good tenant.
They are very cooperative.
That was my only other question.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the special exception application number 957, resolution number 24-02-BOA on 122nd Street.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Keating. All in
Mr.
favor?
Johnson?
I'm sorry. Ms. Quillen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Johnston?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Ms. Nunn? Yes. Chairman Smalls?
I vote yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir,
Thank you so
and
much.
good luck to you.
I'll
Thanks
take in
very much.
consideration your advice on lowering the rent a little bit in terms of the.
We
want to be
have
fair. I mean,
residents-
we're
yeah.
so
Well,
we're
you
definitely
understand.
yeah, definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank
I
you, folks.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Agenda item 4 is special exception, application number 958, resolution number 24-03, Board of Appeals for 14504 Greenview Drive, filed by Davonia Bryant, seeking approval to establish and operate a Type 1 publicly funded, non-public school, the Maryland Family Scholar House, located on the 5th floor of the building. I'll open the public hearing at 6:21 and turn to the staff for report.
Good evening again, Mr. Chair and fellow board members. This is Acting Director Monte Burrows. Special exception application number 958 was filed on April the 1st, 2024 by Ms. Davonia Bryant, seeking approval to establish and operate a Type 1 non-public school located at 14504 Greenview Drive, Unit 500, Laurel, Maryland, 20707. Under date of April the 10th, 2024, a justification statement, a cover letter asking for comments were sent to state and local agency. Comments from these agencies can be filed in the staff report. Under date of May 31st, 2024, a letter explaining the nature of the application and advising of the scheduled hearing before the City of Laurel Planning Commission and Board of Appeals was sent by certified mail to the contingent property owners. A memorandum from the Planning Commission to the Board of Appeals dated June 12, 2024 reads as follows. At the regular meeting of the City of Laurel Planning Commission held on June 11, 2024, the following action was taken on the subject zoning application. The commission on the motion by Mr. Wilson, second by Mr. Grant, and carried on roll call vote of all members present, voted to recommend approval of special exception for 14504 Greenview Drive, Unit 500, Laurel, Maryland, 20707, as stated in the technical staff report to the Board of Appeals with the following conditions. The applicant should obtain all applicable City of Laurel permits. The applicant shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations. The file contains a certificate of publication verifying that this application and public hearing was advertised in the June 20, 2024 issue of the Prince George's Post. The file contains an affidavit signed by the applicant attesting that a zoning sign has been placed on the subject property, has remained and shall remain until the decision is reached by the City of Laurel Board of Appeal. This concludes the reading of the file. Mr. Chair, and the applicant is here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burrow. Any questions for Mr. Burrow? On the staff report? Seeing none? Would
All right,
you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I have one question.
Okay.
Mr. Burrow, just to confirm, this application that is brought to the board today is currently only up to 20 students in this current version. Is that correct?
Yes, the applicant can attest to this. This current is for 15 to 20 students. And if the applicant does want to increase, she has to follow the guidelines in the technical staff report up to 40, and it's specified what she can and cannot do. And if she goes over that, then we have to come back for another special exception.
If
But
she
we're
goes,
just,
if she
yes.
goes over 20.
Well, in the technical staff report, it gives her up to 40 plus the square footage.
Oh, okay.
So the square footage has to be able to maintain more students. And I believe at this time she has 16,000. So that would give her ample amount of square footage for the 20. But if she goes over that, then it increases almost up to over 32 for more students.
Mhm.
So,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burrow. Ms. Bryant, you want to come forward and give your name and address for the record?
Hi, good evening. My name is Dr. Bryant. I currently live at 8124 Fenwick Court, and I am the CEO and president of the Maryland Family Scholar House.
Welcome. Any questions, comments from the board, Ms. Bryant? Dr. Bryant, I'm sorry. Yes.
Dr. Bryant, I love the project. It sounds amazing. Just as a type of school and an opportunity. So thank you for bringing this to the community. It's a follow-up question on the number of students. I would like whatever we approve today to give you enough operational room while still being within the zoning guidelines. I frankly don't understand why that many tens of thousands of square feet are required in the zoning for students of this size, but the rules are the rules. I didn't make them. So your plan for now is to operate up to 20, up to can you just explain what the current plan is on operation for the number of students?
Yes, thank you. So yes, currently, our current goal is to enroll up to 15 to 20 students following the guidelines. I did have a conversation that if we could expand in the future progressively, we would like to add at least 5 to 10 more students up to 4 more years to reach that 40 student max. So I was informed of what the process would be if we were to increase our student enrollment. But the goal for next school year, 2024, 2025, is only up to 20 students.
I also really appreciate what you're doing. I believe that the city definitely would benefit from such a program. In my opinion, I do have a question regarding physical education. Now, I did see that you were planning to use the parking lot for PE. So how many days a week are you planning to do that?
So I never stated specifically that we would use the parking lot. What I discussed with ECD was that we would focus a lot on trying to get the kids outside to maybe get some physical education by walking throughout the community. We also had a really great conversation about one of the rooms being used for yoga, mindfulness, that sort of thing internally. And then we also had a conversation about possibly using the tennis courts that are located in the Greenview community. There wasn't anything explicitly about reserving the parking lots, but we would possibly be taking the kids on walks so that they can get some physical education that way.
And how many days a week are you planning for a physical education for the students?
5 days a week.
5 days a week. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Michelle? David?
The old software engineer makes me ask this question. Is this in zip code 20707 or 20708? Because I see both numbers in there. You should sync them up. I think the first appearance was 20708, but it's really 20707. Okay. Doesn't affect much. But one line of code out of place can ruin your day. So, all right, that's it.
That's it. I too want to say that this concept is phenomenal. I'd like to get a sense of a couple of things. Are these all from the information I read? These are all ninth graders, or does it vary?
Yes, so in year one,
level.
we only plan to accept ninth grade students because we're building a program and we're specifically building a model. We want to make sure that we perfect that model before we start adding in additional grade levels. So year one, we will only have ninth grade students. And then the hope is that we continue to add staffing so that we can add additional grade levels over the course of 4 years. But next year will only be ninth grade.
And based on the data that you've done to come up with this concept, do you find that your student body would be more one gender over the other based on the data?
No, so specifically our students, we will work with students with federal disability codes that range from emotional disabilities, students who have ADHD, students who have depression. So those federal disability codes 9 and 10, there really hasn't been necessarily any data to show that one gender is more impacted than the other, but there is a lot of data that suggests that students who do not receive the type of educational support they need in ninth grade or more likely to drop out of high school and not graduate. So that is why the goal is to make sure that those students who are special needs and who need those resources, that they get that in a very therapeutic setting, which is what we want to offer in ninth grade, so that we can minimize the amount of students who are dropping out of high school who are special needs.
Now, will your student body be all Laurel residents? Will they be all a mixture of Prince George's County? We're adjacent, obviously, to Anne Arundel as well. Or is it wherever the need comes in and they meet the requirements, they'll be accepted?
Yes, so we are partnering primarily with Prince George's County Public Schools. However, we will be partnering with all schools in Prince George's County. So we actually take referrals. So those high schools, they actually reach out to MSDE. They say this student needs more therapeutic setting. They need additional supports and resources. And then MSDE refers them to us. Those students do not have to attend Laurel High School or live in Laurel. They can attend anywhere in Prince George's County Public Schools. Also, just to add that our model is a little bit different in that we support students, but we also have a two-generation model, which is what I outlined in my application. So not only are we supporting the students, but we are supporting the families, because what we found is that a lot of our families do not know how to adequately advocate for their child, and that is why oftentimes they fall through the cracks. So in addition to the educational support, we will also be providing family workshops, which will provide family therapy to address some of the trauma. We also will be holding homeowner workshops, financial literacy classes, et cetera. So our model is really a very therapeutic, comprehensive model to support families with students with special needs.
Well, I certainly wish you well. I can speak from personal experience, having a grandson who had dropped out around ninth grade and hasn't gotten himself together since. That this kind of educational environment is very much needed in the community in general. So, with that, I will ask the board for a motion and a second.
I'll try it. Okay, so I move that we adopt the findings of fact and conclusion of law outlined in the technical staff report for special exception application number 958 and move for approval of resolution number 24-03-BOA as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Is there a second? Excellent. Thank you. Ms. Quillen, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Ms. Nan? Yes. Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Johnston?
Yes.
Chairman Smalls?
I vote yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck to you, and please check in and let us know how things are going with you. I am sure that our mayor and members of our council and members of our staff would be more than willing to help wherever the city can.
Thank you, and you have an open invitation to come on our opening day to meet the students and, just meet the students and the staff, and hopefully some of you can maybe even stop by and speak to our students and encourage them to hang in there and try to get their high school diploma. So thank you very much for your consideration this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Is there anything else to come before the board? Ms. Quillen, anything? Nothing? Mr. Burrows? Right, I was going to say, because I wasn't introduced, so if you wouldn't mind, Ms. Nan, introduce yourself to the community, that's all of the hundreds of people who are watching us at home.
Yes, thank you so much.
Man, okay.
With you all.
Well, you certainly have an open invitation, even if you're not serving as the alternate, to attend the meeting and to sit up here with us. Because I think the best way for you to get a feel for, what this board does and understanding what the other boards that make recommendations to us are doing is to be here and participate and hear what's going on. So I would certainly encourage, and I think you automatically, alternates would also get, so please, our meetings are few and far between, but you can see they're full of substance. So we'll definitely reserve a space for you up here with us to sit here. And I don't see any reason, if sitting here, you have a question or two that you couldn't chime in as well. We've had alternates do that in the past, and several, so we want you to feel a part of what we're doing here. Well, if there's no other business to come before the Board of Appeals, this meeting is adjourned, and enjoy the summer.